everybody. It's story time again. I'm a little early, but today seems like a good day to read you a good story. A lot of storytellers out there today, but they're not on my level. And I state that because the stories they read are from the internet. Already been published, already had, you know, they've been there. They've been there basically. All you gotta do is look it up, read it yourself, maybe have an audio book with it. You know, some of them do. Some of them do. You can probably find the same story on Spotify or Amazon or something like that. But my stories nowhere to be found. Not Spotify, Amazon, internet, anywhere. The only place you're gonna find my stories is right here in front of me. And the only person that wrote my stories is me. My concept, my characters, my ideas, my imagination. I own all rights to everything. Let's just say if there was any copyright, you know, situation, I own all the way down to the bottom. From characters all the way down. You can't duplicate that. You can't duplicate my stories because I wrote it. It's my shit. I'm sorry. And if I was to catch anybody on the internet trying to duplicate my stories, I will strike your ass for stealing my content and fucking it up. No doubt. No doubt. That's what I would do. But I see I got some good feedback on my first story, which was titled Backwoods Terror. I've got an anthology series going. That was the first story. It was called Backwoods Terror. And it got some pretty good feedback. A lot of people liked the story because it dealt with the paranormal. It dealt with the kind of the 80s, 90s slasher genre, sell your soul to the devil type deal. There were so many genres of horror and stuff like that I combined it all into one, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be different, so I added everything all in one story. Was it hard to write? Absolutely, absolutely. It took me a while to finish it, because I broke it down into parts, and I had to have inspiration on a lot of it. You know, some inspiration was maybe a song I was listening to, or maybe uh, a show that I come across that kind of inspired me to keep going. I didn't steal any, you know, content from the show or anything like it. It just inspired me to continue the story. Sometimes you get brain farts. And you kind of, how can I put it? I don't know what to say now. I think I've said enough. But no, that's not it. It's just life happens. You get caught up in it. You get kind of distracted, and that's it. That's how we go. But today, I'll go ahead and tell you this story is not finished. But the first two parts of it are finished. as far as to my knowledge, they are. But I am finishing this story. I just haven't come across the inspiration to get me back in the game. But there will be a third story. It is titled Rush. I'll give you a little sneak hint at it. It's about a serial killer that's driving across the United States. Uh, he picks up a hitchhiker, which he's later finds out might be just a little bit more crazier than him. Makes him question his occupation. It's going to be a good story. It's going to be a fun time. There's going to be some crazy parts in there, and I think you'll enjoy it. Like I said, it'll be all original. You won't find it anywhere else. You'll find it right here, but you won't find it anywhere else. But the second story I read today in the anthology, or the parts of it, is titled "What Lies Inside," and it's basically how you say it. What lies? Basically, the line is abbreviated like you would lie to somebody. What lies inside? Gonna be insane. Hope you're ready. Let me get to it here. Man, that first story was insane. All right. Part one of What Lies Inside was written 11/1/2018. Whoa. That was a little while ago. The intro to this story goes: Luke Connor is a young business owner in a small town outside of Memphis, Tennessee. Very attractive and a slight obsession for beautiful women. But the ladies notice something out of place about him. Memories start to surface, and his obsession is going to open doors and unlock secrets that have been stored away for years, or at least Luke thought they were stored away. Please stop. You're hurting me. Get off me, Lady cries. I'm sorry, I don't know what come over me, Luke replies. Climbing out of bed, pouring sweat and shaking from shock, Luke opens the medicine chest, grabbing the pill bottle marked lithium. Wiping his face and setting to calm his nerves, the lady he met earlier gets dressed. Did I do something wrong, Luke? No, it's just me. I've been under pressure with my shop downtown. Whatever I did, please forgive me. It's okay, honey. Anytime you want to hook up, I'm just a phone call away for pleasure. I'll keep that in mind, lovely. The woman leaves and Luke pours a shot of whiskey and after drinking starts to fall asleep. Dream flashback sequence. Mr. Connor, how are you feeling today? I just want to talk today. No treatments or shock unless you give us reasons for these actions. We have nothing to talk about, Doc. We've done talked about everything. Everything you have on me is on file already. I want to get to know you more in depth. See what's inside your brain. See what makes you tick. Hey, Kate, I don't want to interrupt. I didn't get a notification. Keep reading. I'll explain that after I get done reading the reason why you didn't get notified. Yeah. Trust me, I'll get back with you on that one. Waking up feeling concerned for his actions from the past night, he pours a hot cup of coffee to help the whiskey hangover. Getting dressed, his cell phone rings. Morning, boss. Your limo awaits you downstairs. Thank you. I'm headed down as soon as we speak. Did I screw up? Did I sound third grade there? Let's do that again. Morning, boss. Your limo awaits you downstairs. Thank you. I'm headed down as we speak. That sounds a lot better. When you arrive, there is a lady here interested in some of your artifacts you've got. Okay, please ask her to wait a little bit longer and I will be there to show and discuss anything she would like to know. Sure thing, sir. I will relay the message. Now, as you notice in this story, I'm going to do some narrations in case y'all get confused on kind of where this is headed or kind of what's going on. If you notice, this guy has a driver. So obviously, he's got a few dollars in the bank. To have a limo driver. He must be somebody important, right? He's got kind of a, how can I say it? He's got kind of an Alfred to his Bruce Wayne, you know, persona. Was I intending to go that route? I don't know. No, not really. Finally arriving, Luke walks into his office, but first he notices a very attractive lady standing by his case of high priced swords and blades used in battles from the past. Her looks spark his interest, and oh man, there I go, sounding third grade again. Her looks spark his interest, so he approaches. I see you have a rare taste in blades. I would have never thought a woman of your beauty would have such an interest in weapons. Very strange, if I may say. My name is Layla Morning, and you must be a proud owner of such fine knives and swords. Yes, ma'am, I am Luke Connor, and this is my gallery. I would love to purchase them. I would love to sell them, but if that's what you. God, I'm even having a hard time. I'm sounding third grade, people. I would love to sell them if that's what you like. I can't hate for such a sudden taste. Forgive me. Taste for death. Now that sounds very crazy, don't you think, Mr. Connor? I see it as a passion for history, and these weapons have a story that people haven't heard or know only what the writers want you to know. That's how I see these items. I never seen it that way before. I'm not trying to be a push up type of guy, but know a great place for a steak and lobster if you would want to join me for dinner and maybe discuss history. You are very sweet and handsome, but I don't think my husband would like that. But I appreciate the offer. But I'm going to have to decline, Mr. Connor. As Miss Morning pays for her items, Luke notices that she is not wearing a wedding ring and playing hard to get, and that sparked a sudden interest, wanting to know more about this beautiful woman. It's the weekend, that's right. That is right. It is the weekend. Sir, Do you need me to drive you back to the condo or help with any stocking in the store? No, Stanley, you're free to leave. He'll take a few hell oh my god. Hell take a few nights off. I can manage things for a few days. 2 days pass, working late at the gallery, closing up for the night. He hears a woman scream out loud for help. So Luke grabs his baseball bat and steps out on the sidewalk to notice a woman struggling in the alleyway. So he approaches. Hey, you bastards, leave her alone, or you will regret this. The thug draws a pistol, and before cocking the hammer, Luke swings the bat connecting to the side of his head. As he falls, the woman stabs him with a piece of broken glass, ripping his stomach open. She pulls herself up, thanking Luke for his help. That's the end of part one. Now, we'll get into a little discussion before I get into part two. This story is in all kinds of directions right now. Because I wrote I wrote it. It's weird that a woman would have an interest in swords and blades. It's weird. And if you noticed, we had a flashback sequence. So obviously, this character, our main protagonist, his name is Luke Connor. He has been, he's been inside. It was written January 21st, 2020. Mr. Connor, thank you. Miss Morning. As Luke and Miss Morning leave the crime scene to avoid police and questioning, Luke finds a sewer drain and tosses the bat and piece of bloody, shattered glass into the drain and confronts Miss Morning as she sits and begins to cry. Mr. Connor, I want to thank you for being there and putting yourself in a deadly situation to protect me from the devilish men. But I noticed that you're not afraid of. Damn, I've even got myself confused here. But I noticed that you're not afraid of freaking out, nervous, kind of like murder, has no emotional effect on you. Okay, I had to double take that for a second. I call it saving someone's life and playing self-defense card. But us running off may make us look not so innocent in the cop's eyes. But nobody around makes it hard to talk and show proof. You're welcome. Whew. I don't know, people. You think he kind of enjoyed it? Sounds like to me he kind of, you know, wow, that was a short part too. But like I said, I'm still working on it. I watch Forged in Fire. Damn, a cliffhanger. Absolutely. And that's actually a good point, Kate. I'm glad you brought that up. Cliffhanger. There it is. And you really didn't know that the girl he saved in the alleyway was the same one that was in his gallery not even earlier that day. I kind of didn't tell you that until just a few minutes ago. But we'll talk about it. We'll discuss it for a second. So, like I said, obviously this person has had some kind of, you know, treatment in his past. But what questions me, even as a writer, you know, is how to develop his, his character further, and how to introduce you to, they say, true colors will finally show. And that's probably going to be the most interesting part in my eyes, is how I'm going to display of his, you know, true colors coming out. Now, as far as the lady's colors, she's got a very interesting story coming ahead, that you're going to also learn that I can't really give it to you, but trust me, it's going to be very interesting on the development of these two characters. The chauffeur, the butler, he doesn't really have much to talk about in the story. He is what he is. He's the chauffeur, he's the butler, you know, anything like that. But you want to focus on Luke Connor and Layla Morning. Those are the two you're going to want to pay interest to the most, because they have a very interesting story coming. But I don't want to leave you hanging. And I know I just got on here and I ain't been on here very long. But like I said, this is a three-story anthology. You've heard Backwoods Terror from front to back. You're now getting introduced to what lies inside. And I'd like to give you a little sneak peek of the third story, called Rush. I love talking about this story because it's going to be funny, and it's going to be insane. But here's a sneak peek on Rush. Uh, I'm actually going to write the synopsis intro for it tonight, and then I'll jump right back into what lies inside, because I want to get the basic idea for the third story down. So once I get done with the second one, I know exactly where to jump into. So all I can tell you is, if you've seen the movie The Hitcher, it's going to have some influences from that, some inspiration, not content stealing and be exactly like it, but it's going to be inspired by that. The movie The Hitcher with C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer. Uh, it's going to have a lot of inspiration from that. It's going to have a lot of inspiration from the thriller. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's got Paul Walker in it. It's called Joyride. It's going to have something to do with that, and it's also going to have something to do with. But these are just inspired shows. I'm going to tell my own story, and there's another movie. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Uh, that's really heavily going to inspire it. Uh, Give me a second. Oh man, my brain is just not working today. So we got The Hitcher, Joyride, and what is that? I'm trying to think of that one. No Vacancies. Yeah, No Vacancies. Yeah, so them three movies is gonna really inspire the story. It's gonna pretty much kind of set up everything, and that's all I can say. I just saw Joyride. Oh yeah, Joyride was a good one. Yeah, At least you own the stuff you're reading. Yeah, that's right. Just like I stated at the beginning, all these stories I'm reading, I wrote it. I own the rights to the characters, the content, the ideas, everything. Like I said, if this was a copyright issue, I own it. That's my stuff. You know, was on my edge of the seat the last 30 minutes of that movie. Oh, yeah, yeah. Joyride was insane. Yeah, it was a good one. It was a good one. I'm not real big on the sequels or anything like that because usually when they do sequels, they get out of hand with it. They just start going in left field and pulling stuff out their rear end. Some movies are meant to be one offs, and that's it. You know, enjoy that one, and that's what it is. Just like I'll even bring it up. Just like Saw, I don't think it needed a sequel. Well, maybe just a couple, just to kind of sum it all together. You could have told the whole story in two movies if you wanted to, but they just kept going off the wall with it, sequel after sequel, spin off, and then now we're back to Jigsaw. Nah, when I seen the first Saw movie, I was like, man, this is cool. It's different. I understand, the reason why he's doing this to people. I get it. But when you start doing multiple sequels, even they even did the same with Halloween. When you start doing multiple sequels, it starts to get corny. It starts to get predictable, corny, and it's just, oh wow, another Halloween movie or another Saw movie. Whoopity doo. You know, you got to know your limit when it comes to horror because if not, you're just gonna go outright, just get stupid with it. I was yelling at the TV, "Don't open, yeah, don't open that door, damn it! There's something behind it. Shit's about to hit the fan." Yeah, right. And Kate. There's not a lot of TV shows out there that really get you on the edge of your seat and really, like cliffhangers. I know, like I said, I'm a Walking Dead fanatic. And when they introduced Negan in season 6, right at the end, you didn't see who he was hitting with the ball bat, and I was, or nothing like that because they really wanted you to guess that. And I noticed on YouTube people was trying to break down the sounds in the background to see who he hit, and this and that. I was even doing it myself because I was like, man, who did he hit? If it wasn't Glenn at the time, if it wasn't Glenn, well, hell, we didn't even know if it was Glenn or not. Who did he hit? I thought she was history with that shotgun. Oh yeah, Kate, I haven't seen Joyride in a long time. I might have to revisit that. I'm not, I think I only seen it like maybe one time, so I'm gonna have to revisit that one. It's been a while. I had to what I call get refreshed up on it. I had to revisit that movie. But yeah, I mean, cliffhangers are good if you do it and you execute it right and really get it going. Because you want people to guess. Because that's what keeps people coming back. You know, man, I want to hear some more. You want them to come back for more. Not sit up on your live stream for 17, 38 hours reading internet stories that have no cliffhangers, and you're falling asleep during the reading. The oh, jumped and grabbed a cup of coffee. I just love how people cannot be original. They're afraid to be themselves for real. They're afraid to do original things. They gotta copycat somebody else because they see somebody's got something working for them over there. They got something going. They're keeping the content fresh. So I'm going to steal their idea and just come over here and read me a story, but mine's from Google. Mine's not on Google. It's not on Spotify. It's not on Amazon, Pandora, your cousin's bookshelf, or in your dog's doghouse. It's not there. Sorry, you won't find it. The only place you're going to find it is right here in my recliner in this notebook, and I'm holding it right here. Insane. But like I said, if you got any comments or anything like that, leave them in the comment section. If you got any speculations on where this is going and how, even with the characters, I mean, just take a wild guess. I mean, later you're gonna, you know, we'll see if a your speculation is correct. Because I will break it down at the end and let you know everything. Spoilers, spoilers. I will spoil everything at the end. But until then, I don't know. I can't tell you much. I'm going back to the beginning. I was late. No problem. That's the best thing to do is just start over, get the full grip. I know I kind of stumbled on a couple of parts. Hell, even sometimes some of my writings a little bit ahead, ahead of the game, even for me, because you got to remember when I wrote this stuff, it's been a long time. Yeah, the beginning of part two in 2020 January, and I think the part one was in 2018. So these stories are taking time. They're not rush jobs. They've got some calendars behind them because, like I said, I do get brain farts and I do lose and need a little inspiration to help me get back in the groove. But anyway, stay tuned. Once I finish part three, or I actually finish the rest of part two and maybe three, maybe the beginning, and leave you at another cliffhanger, I'll get back with you and we'll finish and we'll talk and we'll narrate some more. But until then, speculate, leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think about these stories. Even if you want to put some backwoods terror comments in there, I'd be glad to answer anything you want to know about the first two stories. Until next time, I will see you again.